Contains fast-flashing images that may affect viewers who are susceptible to photosensitive epilepsy or other photosensitivities. Viewer discretion is advised. Did anyone see this coming? Sentinels are in a grand final facing off against Loud. You gotta love the timeline we're in right now. Kind of. In any case, though, hello and welcome to VCT America's Kickoff, coming at you live from the Riot Games Arena in, of course, Los Angeles, California. I'm Golden Boy, currently yelling right now. You got Doug, you got Mimi, you also have Ender here. That's right, it's the finals, so we decided to juice up the desk a little bit and add another person. And he was just here, so why not? Doug, good to see you.
Doug, you're the juice.
Doug, you're looking quite supple today.
Thank you. You know, I woke up this morning, I looked in the mirror, and I went, I feel supple. I feel supple.
And
so thank you.
You're nailing it, buddy. I'm so
Man, come on.
Guys, but we're here, though, serious business, okay?
Yeah. I'm
say that every day.
Reset.
That's the thing. But you guys over here, serious business.
Okay.
This is going to be a good day of Valorant. I'm excited for it. Mimi, you pumped?
I'm very excited for it. This finals is going to be excellent. It actually means a lot. You get 3 qualifying points, which means so much late into the season. And also, you get to be the champion of Americas, which I think has shown to be the most competitive league.
Yeah, that's the bigger deal. Look, like, Kaplan was so excited. Even after the show yesterday, was like, yeah, tomorrow means everything. We need the points, and B, we have to win for the fans. Like, Sentinels have been packing out the arena every single day. Loud's got so many thousands and thousands of fans cheering them on as well. Yeah. You gotta walk away number one.
I mean, you're up against the reigning champion of Americas. If you can beat them in a final here, that's such a big deal for this new build, Sim.
Yeah, really like a true zero-to-hero type of story. You know, when you think about what happened to them last year till right now, quite the journey. But even for Loud as well, there's so much to break down, so much to discuss, so much to dive into. But let's go ahead and talk about what we witnessed yesterday, because we had our playoffs. It did not disappoint. And thankfully, as we had mentioned, we are going to see a matchup that, you know, well, let's just say that for Loud and for Sentinels, both of these teams hungry for this dub.
Yeah, but honestly, both games last night were so competitive.
Especially after
First series, EG doing their homework, picking the Cypher on Ascent, really dismantling Loud strats on that map. Not to be outdone, though, because Loud, using all their footage they saw of EG on Icebox, dealt them the similar blow.
Yeah, this Harbor Viper comp playing into EG's composition was such a great counter. I think that was really a match of the minds. But at the end, map number 3, Loud, I think really showed why they are a champion, why they're the team that I think a lot of people are now expecting to win in Americas.
Yeah, I mean, you know, even for myself, we were talking about this beforehand, it was always a difficult thing to not vision Loud, like, walking away with the win there. A team of 4 people who have been really honing down what they have built last year, incorporating a new element. Loud is very exciting, and I'm so pumped to continue to talk about them. But we also had another matchup happen yesterday. This one was pretty big as well. It was an NA showdown, and Douglas, you actually had an opportunity to commentate the darn thing. What a match to commentate, honestly.
It was a gift.
Yeah.
I mean, Tens and Zekin had, like, career series. They were out of control, and the crowd was spectacular. You mentioned, I think it was you, Under, who mentioned, like, the crowd has been so good for Sentinels, and this is just such a good story. But I was having a conversation with Kaplan earlier today, too. Like, it means so much. Apparently, the guy, like, hardly slept last night. You can tell it means so much to them. They're not just satisfied with going to Madrid. They want the whole thing.
Yeah, and I don't blame them, honestly. Yep. I mean, you're right there. You're at a point where you could really just silence everyone going into a big event like Masters Madrid.
I think it also would mean a lot for Kaplan and John QT as the leadership of this team. After last year, I think a lot of people doubted Kaplan as a coach, doubted the direction of this Sentinels team because they didn't really have one. But now they have an identity. They are a real top-level competitor, even in the global stage. Them winning here would be kind of a conclusion, putting all those doubts to rest once and for all.
It sort of feels like a brand new, I mean, it is a brand new year, but it feels like a brand new year for VCT in the sense of, like, so many of the big teams aren't going to be here. 0 players from Championship EG are going to Madrid. Fnatic aren't going to Madrid.
DRX,
right? Like,
that one's huge,
it's
bro.
absolutely wild. But at the same time, you've got so many teams coming in with very unique reads on the map, from Carmine Corp over in EMEA to over here, Loud playing the madness no dive on maps that have been solved for literally years since the game came out in Ascent. but it feels so exciting to watch. The new ideas and the new faces that are going to be on the internet.
It is. Well, let's go ahead and take a look at the journey, though, real fast, and how we got to the point here. It is going to be a best-of-5 grand final between Loud and Sentinels. And, you know, this is just a very simple 4-team playoff bracket, but the journey, Doug, that these teams took to get to that point was just arduous, 100%.
Well, it just goes to show Group B really was it. Right, like both of these squads grinding through all that. Sentinels had to come through the play-in stage, but they've earned it. They've earned
Group B literally
every single set. Yeah, dude, Group B was it.
Yeah,
1,000%. I think the path that they took to get here, and yes, they've qualified, but this being the crown jewel of the beginning of the year for them just means so much.
Can we get a quick 07 in chat for Leviathan? Like, these poor guys had to be in a group with both finalists.
100 Thieves too, man.
100 Thieves too. They got absolutely scammed.
Yeah.
But honestly, though, like, we could have said that.
Original 100 Thieves fan. Okay.
We could have said that about any team, though. Like, we could have been having the exact same conversation about Sentinels.
In that group.
Yeah, in that group, yes. We could have been having the same conversation about Sentinels. Like, damn, that's such an unlucky draw. They got NRG, and they got Loud, and they got Leviathan and Loud. How are they going to make it out?
But they have made it here. And we've already talked about the points mattering a lot. To put some context on it, you just saw it on your screen. You get 3 points for winning Madrid. You also get 3 points for winning this final. It has the same weighting. You get 1 for every match in the regular season. So it really is a huge step ahead to qualify to champions, which is the goal for every one of these teams.
Massive role in how this plays out at the end of the season. These matches that are happening for the kickoffs. But let's go ahead, though, and let you wonderful people know that you can join us in Madrid. That's right. You go ahead, scan that QR code. Get nuts with it. And we will hope to see you in Madrid. Go ahead, cheer on your favorite Americas teams, EMEA teams, Pacific teams. You know, even the VCT China, new addition to the family. So we're looking forward to seeing you guys out there. Make sure you scan that QR code.
How does one get wild scanning a QR code? Yeah, I'm just curious.
You look at it and then you tilt it that way. You know, that's how you do it. Now here.
Take it away. He's done.
Good news is, though, the funnies don't stop because we have plenty more to come. We asked you guys, before, today's match, to go ahead and send us some of your favorite moments from kickoff. And we have collected everything. And also, we even had our producers, a.k.a. Kurt, grab as many things as he possibly could. So if anything isn't to your fancy, blame Kurt. In any case, though, Mimi,
Yeah, we took all your ideas and then promptly threw every one of them out, and Kurt just picked his 5 favorite plays.
Pretty much. So let's go ahead and take a look at the first one. Number 5 is the TENS 4K.
Yeah. I mean, this was an insane moment.
How do you feel about TENS, Doug?
I heckin' love TENS.
That's beautiful.
So late in the series, or so late in the map, you could feel all the tension, and TENS just like takes over.
The was insane. Yeah. Like, this guy was electric on Sentinels. Look at the round 2, 12-11, that gets sent to overtime. The first time they were leading this game was in the 3rd overtime of the match.
Yeah. I mean, without this, we might be looking at a different team here today. Like, just absolutely insane that he was able to do it. But so many of those rounds, how he played around market and varied it up, playing on the edge of a smoke, peeking out into the site, knowing his timings, waiting to get through. He was a master of that position.
Good micro decision making that TENS was making all throughout that match, and hopefully we'll see a little bit more today. We do have another one. This is going to be EG's Derek with a clutch, of course, from yesterday. This was another nasty moment. Derek had, I'm not fairly certain he had like a life game here. My guy was cooking in this matchup.
It was a life game unless you watched 2022 LCQ. I was watching this and I was just yelling, LCQ, Derek is back. LCQ, Derek is back. He's been gone for so long, but we saw some of the excellent clutches that really made a name for this guy a few years ago.
Yeah, it was so sad too, because throughout this half, there were like 3 or 4 moments where he's in a 1v2, 1v3, makes it so close, but can't quite get it across the finish. Yeah. And then to finally get that in the last round and actually make it happen, I was like, hold on now. EG might have the sort of confidence going into that second half, get it back into their.
That is one team that I'm excited to see in the regular season when we start stage 1, because they have time now. Potter's got time to cook. Oh boy, let's look at number 3. We got Zaddy. It's Zels is coming in hot. Ooh. And I mean, this guy again, another player who has just been having moments.
No, but this play was so sick though. It's a 1v3. He's able to recover.
Oh yes, that's right.
And get this off. And the fact that he can win here somehow, going for the spike plant and getting that kill is just not real.
8 HP. It's just unbelievable, the plays that he's had this tournament.
The pre-fire to just own VALORANT is like him controlling the spray to perfectly have it at head level.
It was
perfect.
By the way, though, we're not done yet because we got another great clip. Number 2,
more?
It's my GOAT. It's Sadak with the judge in hand, living life the best way he can.
Sadak is the only guy that can pick a judge, dominate as hard like this, and then the next game, pick the op on KO. Like he's just a weapons expert. He can use everything.
And he'll get a kill with it.
He's actually playing gun game. He has to unlock the next subsequent gun to use.
He's playing gun game?
Yeah.
in the matches.
He's just thriving. And we have our number 1 clip. And of course, who better than Aspas doing the impossible close. So Turtle is present, but not this map in particular. Aspas just dominates. This one was filthy.
Okay, and so we were, all I was primed ahead of this was, oh, Kurt's showing his bias. He loves Aspas. And I'm like, okay, whatever. But this play, I mean, low-key, was insane.
Look at the snap, bro.
His snap into the smoke.
Like he's got a controller, he's got auto-aim, fam.
And he just knew, right? Like, understanding he was going to get pushed main, smokes it off to challenge pillar, and then instantly transfers back. It was just gorgeous. It almost looked like frames were skipped.
Yeah.
And that's how fast that snap was. It was filthy.
That's Aspas for you. Well, folks, despite, losing Aspas, Sadak and Loud look like they haven't lost a step. Let's go ahead and take a look at the world champion, IGL. Sadak, once again, as we had noted, finds himself in this position of having to rebuild after losing key elements of his team.
But if I have faith in someone to build back better, it has to be Sadak, because he has done this so many times before. 2022. Builds a championship squad, goes on to win champions. 2023, 2 of his best players taken away. He brings up rookies. They go on to win Americas. He just has to do it again.
He just has to do it again.
Eu acho normal ter dúvidas, eu acho normal duvidar do nosso time. Não é à toa que um dos melhores jogadores do mundo saiu do nosso time. Também a gente tem uma troca de coach, né, da staff. Então é normal. Mesmo assim, eu acho que um pouco para reações, eu acho que um pouco pelo meme, eu acho que um pouco para gerar essa inquietude na rapaziada brasileira. Tem que relaxar, mano. Tem que deixar as coisas acontecerem.
O Con tá ali somente pra ele. Vai passar primeiro de lado. QCK! Olha que trapa, que bala sensacional! É um 4 contra 2. Já clicou na spike o primeiro. Cauãzinho, Cauã de novo. Vai Cauã, fez metade. Cauãzinho, é na tua, Cauã! 3 jogadores de Jande. E vai trazendo o round pra Loud. O Tens fica no meio da smoke. Sadak de novo! É dele 5K! Ace do Capita!
Depois da derrota de Tóquio, a gente, na verdade, na minha cabeça fez uma explosão que eu falei, mano, a gente tem que mudar o conceito de VALORANT, como VALORANT está sendo jogado. Demoramos muito para que realmente conseguimos utilizar os conceitos, as ideias que eu queria botar, só que ainda a gente não está 100%. Estamos tentando, é um processo muito devagar, é difícil jogar com essas composições, mas sabemos que quando funciona, funciona muito bem. Somos um time que realmente jogamos sem medo. A gente gosta muito de gritar sem medo. A gente, eu acho que incorporamos muito isso no nosso corpo, na nossa mente, que sem medo para nós simboliza ter a atitude correta, dar nosso máximo, jogar como se não tivesse um amanhã, sabe? Então é algo que a gente sempre se repete só para lembrar que estamos aqui para jogar, para nos divertir, para dar nosso melhor.
Loud, however, never count them out.
Forcing out a rolling thunder on top of that. And 2Ace made it through the smoke for that kill onto Nature. The run through, the bait, the flight from behind. What? Loud pulling magic out of a hat. Hit. There's still you till out for the pulse plant. There's no time left. Sadak gets the kill. Sunsets for EG's journey. But you do have Loud qualifying for Madrid.
Asseguramos nosso ticket para Madrid. Estou muito, muito feliz. Temos que jogar a final agora. Vai ser uma final muito, muito difícil. Vamos dar nosso máximo, como sempre. Vamos nos divertir, consiga superar mais desafios, como a gente está fazendo dia a dia, partida a partida.
There's nothing scarier than a team that plays without fear, and that has been pretty much the you know, the blood of Loud this entire time, man. It's in their blood. They don't have fear. They show it every time. And it even goes that far in their compositions. They don't fear anything. No. They'll just play whatever they want.
I absolutely love it. And I wanted to sort of walk down memory lane a little bit and look at 3 different comps they've played over the last 2 years almost. Because once I heard Sadak saying that he's had this view of the game for a long time, he's wanted to play the current style for a while, I was like, where do you see those connective threads? So going all the way back to Champions 2022, their final game of the year on Haven, I started noticing some interesting things. Now, there wasn't anything super special about this comp back then, right? It was the Raze Fade meta. We were seeing a bunch of that. Of course, you needed the Chamber. Les being on the Chamber was interesting because when you look at how Les plays on a Chamber, it is the Sentinel role, but you need to actively be taking fights, especially on defense, right? Because that's how you get the information is you almost are the turret. You can see that space. And he would take that and go for very aggressive fights, especially out into mid. And then looking forward into the next year when they started playing a lot of these double smokes ideas and Les moved on to a Killjoy, a traditional Sentinel, I think the best thing Loud had in their comp was that Les was still playing without fear and taking those very aggressive fights. So it was very hard to actually read how Loud would play as a team.
He just played so confident. I think they did a really good job of setting up Les into those positions, and they continue to do so. As you've seen their DNA, if you will, evolve. He talked about it a little bit. Like, after Tokyo, something had to change. It was an explosion in his mind, is the way he described it.
But I want to keep going. I do love this through line that you're building here. So break it down a little bit further. What will we have next?
Well, I think first here you have to look at this and say that's a very exec-heavy team. A lot of tools to set up Osboss on a Raze diving in. Let's fast forward to the first series they played in lock-in the very next year after coming through on that win. And this is the debut of the Harbor Viper that they ran away with in 2023 and really defined the meta for the entire year, using double line control, you know, the big wall of the smoke of the Harbor and the Viper to isolate space. And now, instead of playing a comp that is all about supporting Osboss, Osboss is freed a little bit more in the Jet with very limited supportive utility on the Sky. And it's way more about activating all the players on the team to be able to take well-informed fights around those smokes and control the map, and let Osboss play more disconnected in terms of supporting utility, but he has the ability to take those fights as soon as he sees them instead of waiting for support.
And I think even just how you think about the double wall comp sectioning off sites and sectioning off different areas of the map, I think the amount of pressure they were able to apply. I'm a sucker for a really good Harbor Viper comp. I think Harbor in particular, a good one, can be so oppressive. And again, for Sadak and for the brain trust that was at Loud to really lean into that and again, push the envelope was just so much fun to watch.
And for Sadak making these decisions, you know, he said he would have loved to play a no duelist, no sentinel comp even in this year, but it didn't quite make sense for the roles. Because are you ever going to take a player like Osboss and not have him on the free Jet agent, right? You're like, you want to enable him to take those fights. And the thing is, like, double wall agents, double smoke agents really synergize well with flashes, because if you're able to flash through those, you can change the angles you're actually taking fights. Instead of just bursting through a choke, flashing through there and taking the fight, you now have a wall that changes the entire dynamic of the map. So if we fast forward a full year from that lock-in event to Kickoff, their first game here on Ascent, they're still playing double smokes ideas, but they have 1 million flashes. They don't have a solo star player. It is not, even though Ascent is the Jet map, this is not about letting Osboss go off on his own and cook. This is about playing a very controlled style of game where every single player has the pieces of utility they
Everyone's
need
got a role
to take the fights. They can all fight on their own.
Yeah, that's fascinating. I do like that because it's very clear that is, like, Sadak likes to operate the game almost like a chessboard, you know, when you watch him play. That's kind of his whole approach.
And I think he does it well. I've always thought about Ascent, for as many people say they don't like the map. It feels stale, this, that, the other. I personally love Ascent because it forces innovation of some kind. Like, either you're going to have the fundamentals down and something like this separates you from the crop, or you're just going to be blended in with everyone else. And of course, who else but Sadak to challenge convention in the way people are thinking about Ascent, the comps that are being run. QCK has fit this role so well. It's been so much fun to watch.
Let's talk about defense on that map, because the reason why it gets stale in a lot of people's minds is because on defense, there's always a strong side and a weak side. On your strong side, you have your Jet, maybe with a rifle, maybe with an op. Your KO wants to support and take a fight with you. The other side has Killjoy setting up utility to hide back in her little corner, drop a molly, and stall out the plant. But Loud don't do that. They play without fear. They don't have a weak side ever because they have 3 agents with a flash that can fight on their own. You have Omen with a one-way that can fight on his own as well pretty effectively. And Les, the only guy that doesn't have utility to help him take a fight,
well, it's less.
It's less. Dude was playing Chamber 2 years ago. You know he's going to go in, and they use Kalenzin's Bleach Stun to enable him to continually play aggressive. And it won't be always. They'll find their moments to push forward and fall back. But what it creates is a very fluid, a very dynamic way of playing that's hard to read. The more tape that gets out there, the harder it's going to be to replicate that success. But this is the Sawdock vision that he's had for so long. And now that the pieces aligned, QCK came in to play that perfect role for them. They can do this on not just Ascent, but we've seen it on Bind. We've seen it on Sunset, maybe more.
Well, they're going to need that innovation today because they're playing in a very important final here against Sentinels. It's going to be quite fascinating to see how this all breaks down. By the way, this isn't the first time these guys played. They played all the way back in day 2. That feels like 5 years ago. And even though Loud did manage to secure the 2-0 in that one, I think that was where we started to see like the signs of Sentinels. We're like, oh wait, this team's got some juice. They cooking something over there, Doug.
I think they looked really good in the offseason, so it made a lot of sense. I honestly thought that they would beat Loud round 1, and then they'd ultimately succumb to them round 2, but it ended out, at least the first round, went the opposite way. And I think, again, a testament to just how good of a system there is over in the Loud camp. Sawdock and the structure that he's built, how QCK is so well integrated into the system they're trying to put together. It's so good, and it feels like it's really good ahead of schedule.
Yeah. That's the scary part. Because, you can make the case. It's like if same thing we were saying with EG, right? Really looking forward to seeing what they could do in stage 1. But now, here we are. You're in a really intense situation here. And we are very used to seeing Loud and Sawdock and the rest of the team in these very high-stakes situations. They won champions, right? But now, it's going to be Sentinels' time. And they have not been in this position for quite a while, Ender. So there's a lot of pressure on these guys. And I'm sure that they probably aren't trying to force that on themselves, but, it has to be lingering out there.
You see the fans online in the arena.
Yeah. I walked in right before the show started. All red jerseys.
Absolutely. But I think the thing that's so interesting, you say it was, 960 days yesterday since they were able to qualify for a final. We're talking going back all the way to 2021 that they were able to play in a final here, able to win one. Yes,
Dude,
exactly.
The last time this conversation was relevant, Hiko was still competing. We were talking about Wardell as one of the best players in North America. That's how long it's been. Yeah. It's been insane. And now here they are with an opportunity to rewrite and bring in the dawning of a new era, the Sentinels era, and it could start today.
And that's the craziest thing is the journey they've had to go. Because I feel like Sentinels, right at the start, they were the most exciting team, right? Tens was super flashy.
Right, of course.
Shazam, they were so fantastic. And then, things weren't clicking for them. They were no longer winning. Teams were lifting up around them, and it felt like they were slow to actually get onto that learning curve. But the Sentinels we are seeing today is the most well-drilled Sentinels I have ever seen. Their retakes are immaculate. Their team play is next level. Their calling is out of the world. This is the best shot they have had since 2021 to lift a trophy.
And you know what? A big part of that genuinely is because they brought in some fresh voices, fresh faces, and one of those individuals, John QT. This man has been unbelievable, and Mimi is going to break down his illustrious history.
When VALORANT was announced, John QT was living in his home country of Morocco. A Counter-Strike player at the time, he was intrigued, but with no closed beta, he had to rely on reviews and streams to learn more about the game. When VALORANT was released, though, he was compelled, quickly switching to the new title and competing in it, hopeful about the support that Riot announced for his region. His burgeoning VALORANT career got off to a good start with a loss in the finals of a North African Invitational and a top 4 exit at First Strike. It was looking good. But he wouldn't have time to compete in MENA for long. His next opportunity was waiting. The move took him 6,000 kilometers away from home, across an ocean to Montreal for college. When not studying, he grinded ranked and streamed, quickly rising the ranks and hitting top 10 in North America by the spring of 2021. This got him noticed quickly, with friends and family back in Morocco posting about him on Facebook and even local Moroccan news picking up on his story. It was a big deal. Everyone in the Arab scene was watching his success, but they weren't the only ones. Enter Coach Kaplan. At the time, he was the coach of Ghost Gaming, a squad coming off a disappointing 2021 season, looking to make a change. He'd been watching John QT's streams, and he was impressed by the young player's maturity and game sense. Kaplan convinced the team to give him a trial, and he clicked. Quickly, a contract was drawn up, and the new IGL, John QT, had his chance. John and Kaplan's duo were promising. They innovated the fade, raise meta, and impressed in groups. But they failed to qualify for Masters Copenhagen, and in the offseason, the team fell apart. John and Kaplan going their separate ways. 2023, John QT has a second chance as an IGL with another promising roster. M80. They dominate Tier 2, qualifying to Ascension, only dropping 2 series the entire year. They look primed to win it. It's the grand finals. John QT is a game away from America's League. They win map 1. Map 2, a 3-13 loss. They lose the next 2 maps. 3-1 the final score. M80's out. John didn't make it. Again, it's the offseason, and the M80 roster is picked apart. But John QT has an opportunity. He gets a call from an old friend. Coach Kaplan's rebuilding Sentinels, and he needs an IGL. 2024. John QT makes another move, this time across the continent to Los Angeles. You know the rest of the story. It had been 3 years since Sentinels had qualified for an international event. 3 years since they had contended for a title. But despite being in the group of death, despite playing more VALORANT than the rest of the teams in playoffs combined, John QT Sentinels qualified for Madrid and have a chance to lift a trophy in Americas. From a kid grinding in Morocco, to a prospect proving himself in Montreal, to a leader beating the best in Los Angeles, John QT now has a chance to be a Tier 1 champion and to represent Morocco in Madrid. Back to you.
An incredible history there for John QT, and now he's also got some really strong pieces to work with here. Let's talk about the combo of TenZ and Zekin. Doug, you had an opportunity to cast that game, so I'm going to start with you on this one. These dudes were lighting it up, man.
I mean, they were so good. And Zekin's like always been good, and we know he's always been like the future and like the coming of a prophet of what's going to be Valorant in the years to come.
Yeah.
But I think TenZ also, his Omen play in particular, he feels so comfortable. He feels so loose. I think he's got so much more playmaking ability to him, and those two together have been nightmares for the opposition.
It is safe to say the role swap has been a resounding success for TenZ. Like his ability to especially just solo anchor a site on the smokes is fantastic.
Because we always knew that TenZ was like an incredibly smart player.
Yes.
We were just waiting to see that start to build up some more, and
obviously he's always been skilled in a shooter, whatever, but I do think there is an element of on the duelist you get called around. Sometimes you have to like rotate a little bit faster, but when TenZ is just in his element, you can send a few people at him, and he was always coming with 1, sometimes 2, sometimes 3, as you saw.
All right, well, let's see where we're going to be playing at, because the coaches are ready to go for the map selection, so let's listen in.
Hey guys, welcome to the last map pick ban of the Kickoff tournament. After a coin flip, it was determined that Loud is going to be Team A and Sentinels going to be Team B. Loud, you have the first map ban.
Breeze.
Loud bans Breeze. Sentinels, your map ban.
Ban Ascent.
Sentinels bans Ascent. And Loud, your map pick.
Sunset.
Loud pick Sunset. And your side Sentinels.
Attack.
Sentinels pick Attack. And your map pick.
Pick Split.
Okay, and your map side. Loud.
Attack.
Attack. Loud, your map pick.
Icebox.
Loud picks Icebox. And your side Sentinels.
Defense.
Sentinel picks Defense. And your map pick.
Bind.
Bind. And your side Loud.
Attack.
Or, sorry, Attack. Yep. Okay, awesome. And the default map is going to be Lotus, and Sentinels, you have the side.
Attack.
Attack. Awesome. Good luck, guys.
Good luck. Good luck.
With a game like this and the stakes as high as they are, 3 points on the line, gotta ask you, who you felt like came out on top of that map selection?
I Honestly, it's a little bit. It's like a best of 5.
It's a best of 5,
you're gonna have to play 5 maps. Breeze going away is good, obviously. I'm honestly most surprised by the Ascent ban from Sentinels. And like, don't get me wrong, it makes sense with the context that they lost on this map. The Ascent is also a favorite of Loud. But from talking with Kaplan last night, I really thought that they were gonna go ahead and pick that map. Kaplan seemed very confident even on the maps that they had lost. And after seeing EG with the pivot to Cypher, I thought they were gonna do that. Maybe they think there wasn't enough time, but that's a hard decision to make.
Or maybe they thought that there was going to be adaptations coming out from Loud, and so it wouldn't work out. I'm favoring Sentinels a lot in how this has turned out. The fact that you have Sunset right at the beginning, they've shown proficiency on the map for the entire offseason, leading into this as well. This looks really good.
It's going to be fun. It's going to be fun. All right, folks. Well, I think we need to get this series underway. It's Loud versus Sentinels. The VCT America's Kickoff Grand Final starts right now.
Vai, Cauã! Fez metade! Cauãzinho! É na tua, Cauã!
No real damage. There's a follow-up. Another flash. Nade on top of it. It's a masterclass.
This time we're playing Loud again in the finals. This will be my 3rd time playing them. Both times I've lost to them, I've called it a fluke.
Loud, however, never count them out.
Forcing out a Rolling Thunder on top of that. And 2X made it through the smoke for that kill onto Nature. The run through. The bait! The break from behind! What? Loud pulling magic out of a hat!
Contra Sentinels é realmente um time muito forte, é um time que a gente precisou de muito praticinho para ganhar, de muita individualidade.
Sentinels have had their way with NRG this half.
Crafty Saucy, a 1v1. 4 bullets left, switches weapons, time is of the essence! And that's all it'll be! It's been years that fans have had a reason to celebrate, but tonight, Sen City burns red!
They always come in with a bang with like new comps, they always come in with like new strategies or like ways they like to play. They play very Valorant-y, you know, Sarak is a Valorant IGL, uses the Judge.
3 jogadores de Judge e vai trazendo o round pra Loud. O Tens fica no meio da smoke. Sadak de novo! É dele 5K! Ace do Capita!
É um time que realmente joga muito taticamente, tem um tático bom e se a gente jogar contra eles vai ser um jogão.
Riot Games Arena, it's time for the Americas Kickoff Grand Finals! Make some noise for your Loud and Sentinels! Welcome to the stage, QCK1!
Here we go. Two teams that have fought tooth and nail to get to this point. They've both done the hard part. They qualified for Madrid, but this right here is a battle worth winning. 3 points on the line, the equivalent of winning a Masters event. If you win here, you very well set yourself up for the rest of the season.
And forget the points. Points are for nerds. Remember the win. Getting this championship.
Get that dub. Get that dub.
The dub, way more important. That's what the fans care about. That's what the players, the coaches, the staff cares about.
Loud have a chance to go back-to-back. They won VCT Americas last year. They're here again with a new roster. They want to do it again, prove themselves the best. But for Sentinels, the last time they won a regional final was over 3 years ago. The fans have been waiting eons for this moment. If Sen could do it now, they could break that streak. They could prove that Sentinels is well and truly back.
I mean, Sen City has been chomping at the bit, and they've been begging for a reason to get excited, for a reason to cheer, and finally...
The city has been rationing copium with the lack of wins recently.
The tanks very well may be wide open tonight. I mean, if they're able to pull this off, I think the other thing we haven't talked about a ton is this is a best of 5. This is a marathon. This is a different ballgame.
Exactly.
And Loud, a team no strangers to the
They've been here, done that.
They've been through the ringer, folks. It's the Loud machine. And how much are we going to see from them? Do they ever pull off a comp swap? We've seen that in the past in BO5s in big matches.
Correct me if I'm wrong. Last time we saw Loud in a, I was going to say.
In a BO5, it was a lower bracket. There's a lower bracket final.
Oh, okay. That's it. I was going to say, because lock-in as well. I mean, these guys did a BO5 in front of their home crowd.
I mean, they did it in Americas. They 3-0 NRG.
That's right.
These guys are good in BO5s.
Yeah, this is going to be really tough here for Sentinels. They're going up against a Loud team that is prepared and ready to go. But let's not forget that on the other side, Sentinels, no slouch whatsoever. We're not talking about a team from 2 years ago, 3. No, this is a brand new refresh roster that has shown us multiple looks and a lot of growth.
And so much they've showed us on Sunset as well. This map that we're kicking off on looked money from them. Their retakes are out of this world. Like, I was looking at it, and the timing. They would throw from Zelsis 3 pieces of KO utility, the Molly, the Knife, the Flash, all landing within 1 second of another. 3 abilities from one player. The work they've done in the labs and then implemented, coordinating with the team is next level.
Saucy's throwing 2 of his own pieces of utility, also landing on that perfect timing. This team has synergy. This team has ideas. They are implementing Coach Kaplan's and IGL John QT's system to perfection.
All right, well, let's see what we're going to get here in the Agent Select as we will get ourselves, it was going to be a little hot out there. We got a Phoenix to kick things off. But again, you remember what Sadak said. Give me all of the flashes.
Oh, yeah. Look, Loud play very similar on this map to their other styles. It's a little bit lower on the flash priority. Instead of playing a KO like they will on the other maps, it is a Sova in this slot, so a little bit more information. Those shock darts are very effective at dealing with Cypher tripwires on the other side. But more than anything, this is the first time Sentinels will be playing against a team with this much initiative utility. And in the post plants, when they try to set up, that is where Loud must attack them with those abilities.
But the thing is, both teams have a similar win condition where when they get to play their set retakes, when they get to play their set takes, when they're not caught off guard, they can run over their opposition. Both teams' win condition here is honestly getting ahead and denying their opponent these set plays. So I honestly don't expect to see a ton of the set plays from either team because I think both of them will be forced to adapt on the fly and fight forward if they want to win.
This game will be decided by good mid-round calling, reading where those hits are coming in, and also by solo players seizing the moment. If they see a second, an angle that they can take and go on it, they have the chance to dominate.
I think especially on Sunset, I imagine we're going to have a lot of very slow rounds, a lot of like poking and prodding across the middle of the map and then deciding where they want to go. And this goes honestly back to the conversation we had yesterday about John. Yes, he's had this crazy career, and now on the biggest stage he's had so far, he's got to show up, and he's going to have to show up against the best IGL in the world across the stage in Sadak. That's a big ask for a young kid.
Well, you heard the breakdown from our analysts, but now there's only one thing left to do. Settle the score. We got a championship BO5 final on the line and 2 incredible casts. I'm so happy that I get to toss to these guys. Take it away, Vansili and Riv.
Thank you so much, GB. That's right. It's
Let's
time
go.
for the grand final between these two teams, Sentinels and Loud. But when you're looking at this matchup here, Riv, yes, maybe we'd be, not surprised that we see Loud in the grand finals. But right now, for Sentinels, I feel like Sen City has been drinking a lot of that hopium to finally see their team play on the stage today.
And they have earned it. It feels like Sentinels have run the gauntlet here already, and they still got some to go to play against Loud. If you combine the playoff matches for Sentinels here, we saw a bit of the stat before. They've basically played the amount of games they played last split.
They played a lot of games.
It's crazy. 22 games in the last regular season. If you include the playoffs one now, they're up to 18 games. Absolutely crazy stuff. So they've definitely a lot of homework for Loud to read, but are ready for the games for sure. And Sen City's here behind them. The Loud fans already getting to that volume 11 as well as we start off here on Sunset for the grand finals. A lot of tiles work from Sen just to make sure that mid area is controlled from Loud. It feels like Loud's being real passive here. They're ready to go for a first round retake with whatever Sentinels hits.
Not only on that mid take, there was a lot of pressure on both sides from the initiator, getting information on the extremities. And now, as you mentioned, playing the retake style for Loud. There's still a first contact from Tui's, throwing up paranoia, keeping players at bay from Sentinels. Finally a first contact, but the heavy damage goes on to John Cutie. Sentinels yet still want to move forward in this pistol, and Loud decide to pull back. More smoke happening on the left side lane, clearing out towards the left side. It'll actually probably get QCK right now. As the one-way smoke comes up, Sentinels tries to execute in and actually does hit QCK towards the back of the site. There's the first blood. Drop by the Sentinels. A second as well by Second. And Loud is falling down on this pistol with the spike down on the east side for Sen.
Fantastic job at not allowing Loud to get into a positioning, as we kind of saw on Ascent. They can't get this utility, these flashes in order, that Sova dart in place, and Sentinels bite back before the retake even really happens there. Less now, a few final kills on the exit to hopefully collect some money for the squad in a different buy next round. But we'll see, a lot of teams have been full classic saving out on that second round, favoring a bit of utility. And we'll see if Loud decides to do that. Sentinels pick up the first round when they start off with a little bit of across the map. They were looking mid first, then they were moving over to the side of A, but they took it slow. Again, something different we're seeing with John Cutie and Sentinels, that they'll work the map a bit before actually making that commitment.
And with Loud, it seems they were heavily pressured in that retake style they wanted to get. Sentinels wanted to continue to fight forward after that spike plan. Now putting themselves for Loud on defense on a stack towards the B side, setting up for potentially a trap play, but maybe getting information first. You already see out in the open, Sadak is just waiting for a contact for a push. Anybody towards the B main side.
You even see Kalanzine trying to play a little tricky hide spot in the market major. He's just waiting for that wall to go up and catch somebody off guard. Again, the slow play from Sentinels, they're pretty much repeating first round strat, right? We see that Zekin and John Cutie are working tiles. This time, they proceed into mid, but that door is going to be shut on them right quick. Looks like they could go all the way through here. This is going to be trouble for Loud to regain any positioning.
Loud's been good at it so far, continuing the good reads, always being active around the map on their defensive side. Back towards the spawn, they hear Sentinel stopping towards the A side again. There is some sort of hope here. Tui's, there you go, gets that contact onto Tens, slowing the pace of the attack. Instantly traded out by John Cutie, though, as the plant goes down for A main. Triple push forward, but the crossfire is just too good for Sentinels. They do a little bit of damage here for Loud, and you know what? I'm not going to discount this player. QCK finally pushed forward by Second, and Sentinels get the second round.
All right, 2 patient rounds from Sentinels. They pretty much walked themselves into a situation where they're fighting Loud. The first one ended up at A on pistol. That second one, they're able to find their fight as they push behind enemy lines in mid, which also works out for Sen because now they have a bit of map info of how Loud will play those lower buy rounds, whether or not they were covering mid a lot. Maybe they can read a bit into it once they see it again. All of that information helps. So now, what can Loud do? They tried the B stack. That default take on A for first round did not work, but they're going to heavy stack towards A here as we get a bigger default from Sentinels. And I'm interested to see if Loud does a bit of the extremity pushing here. They need each other to get back for this initiator utility on the retake, so losing somebody on a peak would be detrimental to Loud. They're going to stay back and play a very passive game.
Except for that player.
Except for that.
Tui's gets dropped instantly. Sentinels, once again, in a power play. John Cutie still lurking around towards this B side, trying to see if he can hear rotate out of market. But for Sentinels, it's still an information game. For Loud, it's the aggression. We talked about the extremities, but this time it's towards the B lane. There's the contact on a few, finally gets traded out. But we're even up on a 3-3 with Zekin heavily damaged. And that lurk, though, for John Cutie, it's now open. It's up to Sentinels to try to figure a way back towards the B side to meet up against the IGL.
Going the long way around. Wouldn't be able to clear mid and do not know what breadcrumbs are left there from the Cowanzine push.
Getting hurt.
Yeah, they're right. QCK is able to catch this audio and will take a shot.
An easy one. Crosshair placement. Zekin low on HP. Actually dodges away from the flash and made it through. Getting a plant right now for Sentinels would be pretty decent for this bonus round that they have. John Cutie watching Zekin's back as the plant comes down. Snakebite just dropping down inches away at Zekin's feet. And allows both players now to group together towards the back of the site. They see the recon darts or rotate a flank from Sadak towards the B main. QCK, no more flashes, has to move together. They have to play the fundamentals now for Loud. It's a blaze wall first, another snakebite, forcing John Cutie out of position. A 1-for-1, solo second, a headshot on the first, so gets denied right away by Les. A nice trade for Loud. They convert their gun round, but Sentinels, they are definitely happy with that result.
Loud securing that one. Les with the Viper's bite on to Zekin, actually paying off in dividends as they follow up on it. But you're right, so much damage done from Sentinels. Loud are going to have a bit of trouble rebuying into this. Already see some stingers on the board as we rewatch this play again. Good teamwork, good trade. Fundamentals on that one. Keep pressing W until you can get your teammate anchored on that play. So a good post plant from Loud. We see that successful. Can they keep it up? Phoenix ultimate's up. They may try to go for an A push here as they already have that side quite stacked. And the only one that's going to be seen is Tui's.
Loud having to play once again a gamble stack, this time towards B because of that bonus round that Sentinels had.
Yep.
The economy is very low. The strongest weapon was the one that was maintained by Les on that previous round, which is a Vandal. And the rest are just looking for that trap play. It's up to Loud once again to do a lot more rotations around the side, have better reads, but thankfully they have a scan agent and Sadat, who's currently joining towards the B main. Spots nothing. This is good for Sentinels to work the map.
What a choice. John Cutie again calling it shots to the left side of the map here. Obviously a retake for Loud, but this should be Sentinels planting, pushing forward, and actually gaining some position, so Loud cannot do anything really here on the retake. The way Sentinels have been approaching each of their games, it seems like they have two variations they can use, whether it is 10s on the Omen, where they play a game that's centered around this crowding up, getting into the site together and just swarming. Whoa!
Saw the top of the head of Sadak and falls. At least for Loud, they have this running back with QCK, hoping that Sadak was still alive to help with the recon dart, but it's going to make it a little bit more difficult for Loud to retake the site. John Cutie already setting up the camera, so that's going to be the first contact. The rest of the team holding back towards B main, looking to just spam. If Loud make it through the first line of contact. John Cutie, flash, beautiful by Zelsis. It allows for him to get the kill onto Les. But there's QCK, upgrading weapon, mosh pin onto the ground, delays coming out from Sentinels. That clock is ticking down here. Paint gels on top of that. Nice shot though from QCK as they're leading forward. Boombot to get more scans. Sasi dropping two and a beautiful hold for Sentinels in the end.
Not even worrying about the smokes that could come through. They have all the utility and weaponry to fire back onto Loud, and that low buy hurts. All the damage Sen did on the bonus round hurts, and they pick up a third round now. And that was the one variation of the hit where they can follow Zekin in. They can make it work on a map like Sunset. And then Kaplan can switch up the team and you can get a bind out of this squad that has a Yoru for 10s where they're pushing everywhere. They know how to flex and flow between playstyles so well when they get on different agents. Sentinels is just showing different this year, but we got a whole series to go through, and Loud has showed us just as much this season. Coming into round 5, this Tiles push is Loud's again, but 10's answers.
2 right away. But Tui's did get a timing. He made it through. That's going to catch John Cutie. That's allowing to even up the tally for the mid-rounding to start a little bit earlier. Les even wants more. No pun intended. As we have a fight now towards the A main side, instantly leaving Sasi alone.
And they may even Taster's Choice this. And by that, I mean, who's going to kill Saucy? Do you get an ult on Sadak? Do you get an ult on Les? Is it different? Do you let him get it down and get the ults that way? Loud's going to be able to circulate these ults in the next few rounds. Saucy gets the plant, and beautiful that he can work off of it with Wingman here. Thrash is available. If this goes down, Saucy may go all out.
That would be such a gamble, but look at him.
It would be.
He's going to hear all of these rotate, so he's trying to get an angle. He's trying to get a surprise attack. Here's our first jump spot. Here's two crossing over. The third one already made it through. So Saucy now has a timing. Behind the three players allowed, rotating across. There's a snake bite towards main. Now it's being watched. There's and he will have all the kit left now on his Gecko kit. The Marshman going down, forced to halfway, out of position now. Les falls away. There's that Thrash coming out too from the front of the pillar, and Les even has to pull back towards the market. It does not hit him though, but that clock is ticking down. Saucy's getting headed across, runs away for the time, gets it done, and Saucy wins a 3-on-1 against Loud.
Incredible play from Saucy. You can look at any player on this team and find that type of play coming out of Sentinels here. Absolutely routing Loud. Listen to that crowd. The Saucy call-outs come out as his plays go down. What a pivotal kill, 2 for 10s for Sentinels. To understand the tiles push has been such a priority for Loud. They instantly attack back, snap back at Loud's push when QCK comes around the corner. And yeah, they're feeling that. What a play from Saucy. Absolutely throwing Loud's timing off by the Wingman plant and push into market. Very heady play. We're in round 6 now. A mid play from Loud, thinking that Sentinels might go for this encroachment again.
They have a lot that it can work behind this wall that it just put up. There goes that curveball out for QCK, but Tui still fell first. Sentinels are just anchoring around. They have support from all angles, controlling the middle. Not giving a chance here for Loud to really flow through a mid flood. With that hack thrown here by John Cutie, IGL, it gives enough information that A site is open. It's weaker, where Sadak is currently only holding with the Sheriff. And even Sentinels, they're giving him that respect, moving all the way together, forming up forwards rather, and really just working their protocols for the later rounds.
Just the smoke giving them pawn shop control. They know Sadak's right there. And another quick Wingman plant, giving Sentinels so much safety, never having to push into the site.
One enemy remaining.
Somehow Sadak had an opener, had an opportunity to drop John Cutie, but it's an IGL battle won by Sentinels.
Yeah.
Unless, again, potentially in a situation, yeah, you already see him back it up. He's gonna save this one. Money wasn't too great here for Loud, and then his half buy that they had. Trap play was read by Sentinels.
Exactly. Loud are doing everything they can to get under the skin of Sentinels, find that first kill, so they might be able to grab Zeus' Vandal or whatever he would have in the round, and then move it around again, right? See what Les can get, see what can happen. Sentinels is avoiding it, though. They're understanding and respecting the fact that Loud can still do a lot of damage on these low buy rounds. And you're not seeing any wide swings that don't have an anchor of a Sentinel member on it. Very controlled play here by Sen, understanding their wing condition and holding it close to the chest. 4 ultimates for Loud. Very big swing point in the game. We get another timeout right away. Oh my gosh.
Should be the first one here after all.
Okay.
Yeah. So now just trying to figure out what they can do with this, probably. As we had an inkling that a timeout should have come out on that previous round.
Right.
That lower buy that we had from Loud is just for him to decide, okay, we got 4 ults to work with this time around. But that doesn't take away any of the point that you mentioned so far, Riv, that this game means a lot for Sentinels. You know, they made it down to this grand final stage. It's been a very long time since they made it to a regional grand final.
So Loud calls the timeout. This has been uncharacteristic in the fact that it doesn't seem like Loud is, one, getting their pushes into the map to affect Sentinels in a way where Sentinels has to worry. They have to restructure the play. It seems like Sentinels finds what Loud is doing and moves on. They don't really have to change too much. The second one is we usually see Loud have incredible audibles they call in the mid to late round that put them in the position to then stop another take from their opponent. And it seems like they're failing on both right now. Sentinels is able to run through this. And here's why it becomes a big swing round now. 3 round loss row in a row, you're gonna get 2,900 into the pockets of Loud. That's basically on no credits as they have to spend in again. They need to use these ultimates to get some rounds back now, or it's going to start swinging very heavily in favor of Sen. Already they swing heavily over towards the right side to pressure main. Pop flash going right into back alley.
And it definitely looks like for Loud side, they want to try to use that right away. There's the ping on the first one already. The IGL is backing up, trying to get the 100 Fury out, and there it is. It does get a ping on a few. And with flashes coming across, it does get contact for pings, but Zekin still opens up. Sentinels were working towards the mid side after a trap play attempted by Loud with these ults. Now Les is going to be in heavy trouble towards the market. He's there alone, and he's just trying to anchor up at least one portion of this B site towards the map, while the rest are pushing double towards A-Long. Zelsis is currently waiting. He lost his teammate in the process, but he gets the dink and the kill onto Tui's. The flash turns away from it and does not connect on the second one. Krawadzine walks out of that fight, limping away, but still has that support from Sadak. 3-on-3 now in the mid-round.
Finding fights around the map. Loud trying to pick apart at Sentinel's team before they hit these sites. Finally, we just talked about it. They couldn't find any ground before. It'd always be quickly traded back. Now the 3v3 stands.
Les gets traded out.
Yep.
In these moments during this kickoff, he's been so good in these anchored positions to drop 2 and 3. Has been a superstar player, but now Sentinels coming out into this game. The basics, the fundamentals are looking very good to get a plant and already coming out, looking around, a TP. Moving forward as it looks like Tenz is looking for a fight. He gets punished right away by Sadak as the Rolling Thunder comes out. Now even the Pinks comes out. Beautiful combination of utility from Loud as they drop Zasi and come in for the defuse.
And we talked about how big this round was. Loud staves off going into economy hell right now. That was such a big round. Sentinels would have been running away with a few more. And this first half would have not looked good. Now we have Loud coming back up here. Still going to be a buy coming in from Sen, it seems. Yeah, they should be able to get that low armor in. See this again, too. The retake, it had to happen. For Loud to use the Rolling Thunder, everything they had, it was according to the play. This had to be secured. Oh, Saucy not get out of that one. And you see, they're still vibing. Loud knows this game isn't out of hand. It's not crazy. The few rounds down means nothing to Sadak and Loud. Still very much in it, and let's see how they play that.
Always unfazed, Loud.
The judges there for Sadak, so you know they're starting to get a little ratty on these. We'll see how that gets used. And these ultimates as well. QCKs can still go in. A quick retake, and Les just pushes them out with the Viper's Pit. We have yet to see how Loud actually fight back with those.
You can see Loud, though, just jiggling across the contacts being those controllers. Less in the back of the site. Tui's on the A site. It looks like Sentinels want to activate it right away. They'll come in out from Zelsis. Second, Satchel to Pross. Contact on players from Loud in the back of Boba. As the plant comes in for Sentinels, it's time for them to play the pulse plant once again. But this time around, nobody holding yet towards the back of the B main. It's a paranoia to push through, and you hear that run it back. It should come across. The save comes out from Les as it allows QCK to stay alive. A whole roster of Loud against 3 left of Sentinels. Paranoia being thrown on defense. There's that judge. More utility flooding towards the front. But Zelsis and Tenz are holding back their ground for now. Beautiful flash out from QCK, though. As now the tap on the spike, trying to draw out the opponents. Beautifully done by Loud. They come in for the defuse, and you saw some hope there from Zelsis and Tenz, and Loud instantly. They held back for a split second, forced Sentinels out, and finally played the fundamentals and won the round.
That's the Loud train I think we've been looking for. It took a little bit to stoke the fire, but man, coming down the tracks, you do not want to be in the way of Loud when they feel like the retake is going 100%. The way they came through Boba here, just fearless, as it were, as Sadak says. Loud just run right into B main. The last time we saw that fight, Sentinels was just lacing Loud as they tried to come into B main. They didn't even make it. Loud gained so much ground there, completely taking Sentinels by surprise. We set up for Sen in a bit of the same formation, but less movement. They're not taking as much of market. The wall that they just dealt with there in B main usually can mean someone pushes up, so you have to worry. Loud is giving Sen a lot of things to worry about here. And with Dizzy down, they're going to be able to have a little main control, but not in sight yet.
Sentinels just trying to play into Loud's style.
Yeah.
Where when they get pressure on one side, they usually push the extremity on the other. So you already see TenZ holding back towards the A main side, all the way from spawn, trying to catch a forward push. But nobody's really moving here from Loud. They held things back towards the B side. They haven't really fully rotated. And for them, they're just very much still comfortable of playing that retake style towards this A side. For Sentinels, they regrouped after that, after deniability that you saw there from Les's utility with his teammates. Sen is looking to pivot back.
Toying with the door, just hoping Loud will have to keep covering Market there as they start to make their way. Zelsa's knife came up just a bit ago as they entered the A main area, but this is a contact play. They want to see how Loud reacts to this.
And finally, after the first smoke comes out on the defense, the other one goes out towards the spawn on the attack. Now you're not allowing here at 2E's to get the high stack and a spray.
There they go.
With his Vandal, which allows here a Wingman to get a very late plant towards A.
How far do they push forward? Little hide here from Zekin right under the trash can. John QD is going to be flanking far, but it's watched by Sadak. What's the timing here? Loud comes through spawn.
Threw a whole flash towards the air just to try to slow it down for a bit. They're just trying to take down Sadak first to push towards that spawn. It works out. Another one fell within the site for Loud. But Loud have regained control of that B site. The tap to flush out Sentinels once again. Double back towards the default box as Les lines up 2 kills somehow. And the spray comes back here through the cages, but it's going to be difficult right now. Saucy does get the pick. The last one still sticks to the fuse. Woo! Not planned for them to be able to play that push forward. They really had to walk in the site, and Loud was always ready for that.
Pretty wild damage from Sentinels, though, coming out with some pistols on that round. True. They drop all of Loud. Loud and the fans happy, though, to pick up another round. Like we said, even looking at 5-1, we saw smiles on Loud's face during the timeout. It's still an any game, and we saw Loud use the ultimates to make that come true. 4-5 now, 3 quick defuses on the post plant here that have brought Loud back into this, and we are going to get a Sentinels timeout now as they get a talk from Kaplan, figure out what Loud is doing differently here to get themselves back in the match. Really nicely done. They didn't have an answer for the beginning, right? We said Loud was kind of missing the early game control. We saw Kalanzine and QCK trying to work tiles in mid. They lose a few members, and that trade did not benefit Loud, especially the way Sen was taking the site. What I think we did get, though, is Loud in those mid-round calls back, having the right positioning, waiting for each other, that patience where we know Loud to be looking for the flank while the spike is ticking, and you're like, is there enough time? Well, it's enough time. They know, they've been there. We're getting that back from Loud, and that's why we're close to tied now. Sentinels will discuss how to get back in 3 ults. Thrash to be used by Saucy, 11-4. He's had some fantastic games. Even though he lost the win on Ascent on the Sova, he's like 20-5 or something at half. The Odin Master over there. Yeah, he's been showing up as well for Sentinels this season. So we get back in.
Also decided not to play the Ascent in this grand finals.
They didn't. That blew up. The fact that we had Icebox in here and Sen have been kind of kicking that out of the pool was very interesting. I cannot wait. But on Sunset until it does just that. Round 10. Uh-oh, Thrash right off the rip. How does Loud respond to instant aggression?
Tried to get a camera pivot towards the mid, and Zelsis already fell. Now just spraying across here, and gets a lucky kill onto a second one. That second that falls. They still get a plant now. Hunter's Fury coming out from the defense. A ping does get the hit onto John Cutie from QCK. Here's a shot from behind, alert once again. Saucy gets it done. TenZ under heavy pressure, alone towards the back of the site. Thrash being picked up, the TP away from one, sees the second one, and it does get the hit here. That's going to delay even more. Sadak is detained. 2E's had to TP away, and now as they finally regroup, they don't have too much utility but these smokes. TenZ is already pushing towards that spike. A beautiful Dizzy allowing TenZ to get that pick. Up to Sadak alone. A nice shot there from TenZ once again, leading out for the kill, and Sentinels finally get another point.
He threw that through the window, right?
Yep.
Oh, we hardly ever get to see the windows used. Awesome stuff from Market. Honestly, little things like that you hardly see in your games are the ones that can catch you off guard in a millisecond. Oh my gosh. You're like, wait a minute. Yeah, there's a window. Vents that. TenZ vents Sadak. And that's going to be the end. 6-4. The timeout pays off for Sentinels here. Big time after 3 post-plant rounds. Successful in a row for Loud.
It seems as though the game plan got foiled, but thankfully you still have players that could really think on their toes, though, with how Tens and Sassy played that one, because they lost a lot of players in the process trying to play this or trying to play a contact towards the A site. It gets dropped. The lure buy from Loud. You saw the Bucky, a TP towards the back. Elisa Doc is there for the support. Tui still holding towards the back of the A site, and that hat's going to help a lot. Neural Theft out. It's a forward push here from Les outside the B site, while the rest are pinged out all around the A site. But for Sentinels, it's a cut noise. Just want to reset for a bit here with a minute left on the clock.
I like the movement. Les said, all right, we're getting pinged. I'm going to get out here and kill the trap at B main, just to make John Cutie think a little bit more. So John always watching the flank, though. They have to watch for Les. Could be a factor in this round that just closes it out.
Had the angle the whole time, and now he gets all the information. Here comes the bombardment, the Mordor towards the back of the site. Contacts onto Kaladin, while the rest of the Sentinels were there just to get the drive-by. Firing squad leaving Les alone. Yeah, he broke one trip on the B site, but couldn't get this one on the A site, so his cover is blown. Mosh pit to keep him away, but that's a nice shot off the Sassy.
And now no one else peeks.
Versus one, holding a tight angle as Zetkin goes for the crab walk, though. And they'll get the pick.
7-4 now.
Last round.
Sentinels, great control here. Kind of activating on Loud so quick. It almost looked like Loud fell asleep at the wheel for a second. That's just the timing wasn't there. Sentinels get a Thanos timing walking into elbow here. Sassy drops QCK, no flash. And this, three's a crowd.
That was so unlucky there for Loud because they were anticipating that hit from Sentinels. You saw who was that? I think it was Kaladin or so that looking towards the air with a frenzy getting ready to hit that Disney, but he hit both of his teammates, even all three before. But let's hold that thought. Showstopper already outside of the gates and blow Sadak to bits. Once again, numbers advantage for Sentinels, allowing for them to work the map, working back towards his B side.
And right there, I hope I have enough time to say this. Never mind.
Not at all. Paranoid going back and forth just to try to delay towards the market, but still allowing Sentinels to gain space. And a plant attempt. As we went for attack first, they lost players towards the market side. Sassy's still alive at that spot, though. You try to hold it back. Plant finally is successful for the Sentinels. Smoke to help Sassy a little bit towards the market. Loud just waiting here for that flank coming out from QCK. It's slow, but it's coming as a Dizzy comes up just to try to delay towards the back of the site even more. Finally, that contact, as you mentioned, second season. Flash is coming out. There's that execution now for Sentinels. Back and forth, but still the advantage for the attack side. As they know, it was that flanker. QCK with no utility after he uses his wall. Contact out to Sassy, allowing here Zekin just to wait for the tap. Pain shells to keep him at bay. That will definitely end the half right now, especially with that kill coming out from Sassy as Sentinels to close out the half with a 4-point lead.
Zekin used an ult there at the beginning of the round. The pressure's created. It's been such a different in that sense of ultimates being used right off the rip. All of Sadok's Hunters, the Hunter's Furies came at the beginning of the round, came to try and discombobulate what Sentinels was doing, and they only had to slightly respect it because they can dodge it. Zekin comes in, you have to respect it. The fundamental differences in the power that these comps can hit with is huge, and we'll see that as Loud comes onto the attack side now. It takes so much more to orchestrate this composition into a site.
You're definitely seeing a lot from all of these players right now and from the IGLs too, but let's toss it back to Ender, where he has something for us by the telestrator.
Sassy finishes the half with a whopping 15 kills and only 5 deaths, and he is dominant in the clutch. Let's check out this round where he absolutely blows me away. It starts out Sentinels with an advantage, but Loud very quickly are able to bounce back with a few critical kills. Loud, we know, they don't play with fierce. They step forward in mid, in main to take these fights, and even poor Tens trying to move over into main get shut down. So, where do we find ourselves? Sassy is stuck in a 1v3 situation, but those players are fairly spread out from Lev. So they're gonna group up, and that gives Sassy the B site for free. He can walk in here and notice he's got full utility down there at the bottom of the screen, including Thrash. That'll be big. But first, it's Wingman up to the plate. He's going to use that ability to be able to take more space than you'd normally expect in this position. The only thing, one of the things that only Gecko can do. So, Sassy moves into market, and Loud are still taking things slow. They're gonna group up together, but if they had split into mid right here, Sassy would have been able to find a pick. But now, Saucy hears 3 players and turns his attention. He has a very important decision to make. Does he try to pick off the final straggler here and get that one that would be virtually untradeable, swing on that guy there, and then go for the play, or does he wait? He chooses to wait, which is a lower chance that he gets a kill, but a higher chance he can win the clutch. He moves on in here and is able to get both these kills here with a sick transfer on that one. It's money. The utility afterwards is perfect, and then going into Thrash, it makes the round nigh unwinnable. Left could not stick through that plant, and the Thrash means that he could not actually get on Spike in time. Let's get the second half underway. Back to our casters.
Sick flip.
Sick flip, yeah, well done, Ender. Great explanation here on how good these players are. It's not only about that meta, the battle of the IGLs, the big brains from the coaching staff. It's also just a heads-up play from all these players that has been looking so good in this first half. And speaking of information to react right away, a knife went out towards the A side, pinging a few here, thrown by Zelsis, and Sentinels knows this hit's coming towards the A side, and they're ready for this signature retake playstyle on the A side. Loud still deciding to work towards A though, so they might have something back in return.
Right there. What are we working with? There are some ghosts, so a little bit of a drop on util there. Classics will be able to come in full utility-wise. And the early delay. Early fakes with a bit of utility here. I wonder if that's going to allow Sen in a bit more, but this is Loud are hunkered down here. This is going to be hard to get them out.
Paranoia and Dizzy, that's going to hit QCK, runs inside the smoke. The boom body even spots him and blows him away.
Smokes
a
are
flash
good.
towards the back. Coward seems fully blinded, but he's okay to stay behind the smoke. A tap onto the Spike, a fault line coming out, a spray through the smoke, a spray and praying for Loud to hopefully get this pistol on their side.
They got to start it
now.
now.
Even halfway, the wingman already got blocked. But there's no time left. There's no time left. Squeeze comes in for the right clicks. What? This is going to be the type of play so we're going to see in a post-match plays between Loud and Sentinels. We're going to be on the edge of our seats.
They call that cinema? No, I'm just kidding. That was the Tuesday matinee. That was absolute chaos. Oh my gosh. That's the I have one final choice moment situations. Everybody is doing the final thing. They know they're going to go down, and that one was to jump through the smoke and finally kill the diffuser, even though it probably wouldn't have been half. That was just the kind of situation. The pressure Loud puts on the first attack round of their pistol here, second half. A big push here from Sentinels, though. This is going to be another war.
Continuing with the double flash combination from the initiators, but QCK is just ready for that. So not only does he stops the push from Sentinels, but that's building up his ultimate here for the later rounds, even trying to clear for more, grabbing the orb behind the Allen drone. Wouldn't be surprised if they just give him a plan or if he just chases the kill. But you're seeing like Sentinels are trying to rework the map somewhere. Go head to head. Omen versus Omen, 2Es gets the upper hand of 10s. They actually did see QCK trying to hunt for more kills there. He got instantly denied by Saucy.
Camera will let them know they can end at A on this one. In Loud, I feel like needed to start setting the pace as they got onto this attack side. Sentinels, as they were on attack, like I said, what didn't care when the Hunter's Fury came out from Loud. They were able to work around it, absorb Loud utility at market, and hit A, or the other way around, A to B. Here, Loud cannot let Sentinels set up a defensive spot. Loud needs to be in their face all the time. And again, with this composition Loud has, that has to be everybody behind QCK, right? QCK is not blast packing in. He's not dashing in.
Last player standing.
They have to go in together, and right now, they're picking these rounds up together.
Yeah. I mean, as much as Sentinels has utility to retake these sites, for a Loud side, they have as much Sol, right? They have that fault line to come out. They have the retards over the smokes.
Yeah.
They have Paranoias if they haven't used it for the takes. It comes down to how they work the map once again here on the attack. Sentinels might have to try to change things a little bit here as they have a gun round to come through.
Yeah, I wonder
that's going to for them to try to control something.
I wonder if they, as Sentinels, try a trap play right away. Go for their own.
With better guns than this.
With better guns than this, yeah. Because it would be good against Loud. If Loud were to go slow on a round, might be this. Thinking the low buy is going to create a tough entry into the site. 4 towards A for Loud. Heavy side as well for Sentinels. Strong side, rather. Looks like up and over flash by Dizzy. No, I don't think they've thrown anything yet.
Heard a flash coming out from Zelsis just to delay a bit, though. Big paranoia. Fast again. And Boombud, Zekin satchels away. Ten's trying to swing back out just to try to catch QCK off guard. A knife is going to delay that utility that would allow for Loud to gain that momentum, gain that space that it gained towards the elbow. As Sentinels wants to fight back, the aggression comes through. QCK still on the top. A Stinger close range. A Stinger with the Zelsis for the classic. Hot hands on the ground. Finally, Tens takes him down. And all the rest of Loud falls as Tui's was looking for that lurk. And Sentinels, they fight back on their gun round.
They realize it's going to be chaos. Sen answered just as hard and weird and fast right there as Loud is trying to hit that elbow spot. Also take a little pawn control. And it is taking control to kind of organize this mess that's going on. The nades that are being thrown. That first nade allowed this long peek to come through. With QCK there, they knew they needed to get him out of the situation, unroot him. It just caused the push. Sentinels is there with numbers because they did choose the right site, expecting Loud to hit A.
Besides, sometimes at some point those paint shells went down there from Zekin and QCK somehow still stood alive. So.
You jump up on the box as fast as possible.
It's definitely difficult there for Sentinels to try to regain the elbow side, but they did. Power numbers. Now we have a tech pause coming out here, but it's quick, you know? Didn't even have a chance to talk about it.
Wow.
That's even better.
All right, cool. I'll take that.
Any day now. And
They're
Loud,
just making sure tech pause works. Right? Tech pause to tech pause.
at least Loud right now still has this run it back here that they could use. They're adding that pressure on this A side to start. Even trying to see if there's going to be a push from Sentinels down towards the middle for a B link control. Sentinels on their end, though, they're looking for, once again, the first contact towards the front. Zelsis with the support and the flashes on the back of the dumpster. So they could fight back. That's all they want to do so far. When they spray it across, they didn't hear anybody from Loud shooting back. So they might be able to start to pivot back and work towards the B side. How about John Cutie?
This is the first time that we'll see Loud start to use this wall here that kind of helps them get an entrance, mostly for QCK and Kalanzine to flash through. Then they can enter through their own wall. And they have to make Sentinels worry. Thrash comes flying out from Sase to check mid control, grabs one market, and here it comes.
Satchel in, QCK still alive, coming back, but his teammates detained, cannot really help yet. Mosh pit comes down, the timing of one, Zelsis gets the headshot. Ten's ready for a paranoia, let's it rip. But the rest of Loud made it through towards the B site nonetheless. They gave up on that control towards the market. The plant coming down here for Kalanzine, hit by flashes all over for Loud, as Sentinels are still held back on the outside by middle and B main. There's that fight, the contact, oh my God! It's all around! Leaving out less alone on the 1 versus 4. Positioned now towards the spike. As at least the Thrash does not spot him. Now back and forth we go, and Zelsis gets another backstab. Tens is ready to come out strong in his grand finals as well.
It's been an incredible year for Ten so far. We see him go from aggressive duelist over to smoke. Himself saying the consistency it brings to his play is unreal. And looking at how that works, if we think about Tens, he's been on agents that can get out of a situation, but you know where that dash goes. You know where he might be playing. Now he can reset on an Omen. He can audio cut and rat a little bit more. He has so many more options here, and he looks so happy to be playing the new role.
Yeah, it's insane too. Yeah, the questions that came out of Tens' role of like, oh, and he's not able to play a raise too well on split, or he should play a KO because it's like his play style from the other games. But this time as an Omen, he's shining.
His stats this year on average on the Yoru, the Omen, way better than his Jets KOs from last year. Kind of incredible that he's able to put up these numbers still. You see how comfortable he is.
We're not over yet here. 3 rounds away of getting the first map for Sentinels as Louder looking for the contact play. Speaking of Tens, he opens up the round. QCK falls, a tap on the spike, baiting out the players of Sentinels, trying to push towards the spawn. Are Loud. They will not meet any opposition, which allows for them to at least get a plant down to build that economy for the next. Ready with the shorty in the smoke. Snakebite keeps them at bay. But all of Sentinels are here, getting ready to flood back from that A-Link once again. And there he goes. Look at that utility. Everybody's hiding within the smoke, though, for Loud outside the site. Okay. Straight off for kills, and there's only less than Tui's left. And Zekin himself is cleaning up the site. Showstopper ready for the next round as Sentinels scored the 11.
It kind of took Sentinels just fighting back as fast. That, I think the mid round where we saw Zekin fly through. That tells you how fast Sentinels want to be going right now. And Loud are going to be calling the timeout here. Boom. Tens playing the smokes. Frags all around for the team. It's not just kind of the 3Ks from Tens. You're seeing the refrags, the trades. Sentinels is a well-oiled machine right now, and it looks like they could close this one out. They get a timeout as well off of Loud, so Kaplan's going to be able to talk to the team to help solidify these last few ultimates. A rolling thunder from Kalanzine here. That can be denied if they throw that, and Zelsis is there to null command down. How's the rest of that site take hit? It just seems like Sen has answers to the ults ready for Loud. So it is going to take the Sadak Masterclass here. It's going to take this timeout to close these 5 rounds and bring us back to a tied game for sure.
That's the important call there. What Sadak could really pull out of this timeout. The last one that they have on this map of Sunset. And where Sentinels, when we were watching how that history of the first half went through, for them to score that many rounds on the attack puts them in a comfortable position on their strong retake play style. And Loud has to find a way to answer that back. How do you fight back towards the spawn? They tried to play further back towards the A site and fight through after the initial utility that's being thrown on a defense for Sentinels. They're also alone in these forward positions after. They're not really able to set up for trades. This time around, though, looks like Loud is just holding back for a mid control.
Their weight looks like this. 0 point's going to come over the top. You can see Zelsis' positioning. And Loud get too caught in that. Looked purposeful as well. They kind of stood exactly where they wanted to. So Viper and Breach, seen on the right side of the map, is what Sentinels is working with right now. Again, this wall, only 2 times since this wall was put up from Loud have they tried to work through it. Last market we saw Zekin came flying through with a showstopper, but now they're giving QCK quite a task here.
Yeah, you already see QCK working up the mid of the map. The L drone comes out towards the right side, but the important thing here is Kalanzine taking control of this B lane. They try to use his rolling thunder to hold towards the left side or flash towards the dumpster, but instead, after it sees nothing on the elbow side, they regroup and try to go for the contact play.
Looking at Sadak. Sonar up. Drone has been used. Again, they're really liking this elbow play. At least putting 3 or 4 members in there. They have to get Kalanzine in there because the fault lines from that side just seem so much more effective.
Even
to
a rolling
entry, the rolling thunder, to boot. Right, so having Kalanzine in this elbow has been a priority for Loud. They set it up again,
30 seconds
and
left.
It's going to be the 5v5. A good lurk here, however, from Tui's could just separate Sentinel's rotation.
Feels like Loud seeing here that Sentinels like to play the retake, to just contacting the site, allowing this utility to delay even more.
There it is.
And as he throws out the rolling thunder off the knife, QCK is pushing forward. Just around the corner, though, Zelsis pulls out the null command. Zekin holding all the way back towards that Boba side, where we have a late lurk from Tui, still waiting for that opportunity to strike back behind them. But Sentinels are now running very quickly towards the A site. Showstopper to open it up. It's Planet once again for the elbow spam. Wingmen on the ground. Kalanzine trying to delay as he runs forward with utility. Gets denied as Sadako on the other side. There's that backstab. Tui's trying to go for the hero play. There's that first kill. It's tapped at half. There's no time. 10 gets the kill. But it's Loud that stays alive.
Tui's the lurk king on that one. Absolutely pivotal that Tui stayed alive and was able to get a huge kill on John QT there, causing that defensive rotation to have to route around through spawn, take a little bit more time. Everything that Loud did there really hurt Sentinels. Sen tried to paranoia retake pawn shop into the dumpster there, and it didn't really hit anybody. They tried to retake flash on dumpster, and all of what they needed for sight was already used by the time Sentinels got there. Loud really draining Sentinels' utility in a way they cannot retake. See what happens here. Spread out across the map in a default. Same wall here. Loud's just kind of pressuring with this each round to give Sentinels to something to look at, and then possibly play through it with their flashes.
Saw 2 sets of footsteps there off that camera from John Cutie. And look at Sentinels, a flash over and a swing after, a quad swing coming out, and that's just being held back. Even Paranoia to try to move forward. Kalanzine's all the way back towards middle. Instead, a spray through the blaze wall to get that kill on the market. He's laughing. Sadak's just like, oh, that was a pretty hot situation. As they pull back, though, with the numbers advantage. 5 players to work together towards the A side, but Sentinel has the read on this. Never mind, it's a double pump. Because of the position we have Tui's all the way towards the B main.
Take flight. Okay, so I feel like we have been missing this from Loud in these few rounds. The past rounds, it would be that they tempted B main, they were a little bit in mid, right? QCK would flash, and then everybody just reset to a default spot to hit A.
30 seconds
Loud
left.
have not been leaving breadcrumbs around the map to be able to make audio calls on a rotation or be able to make that re-rotate. And now we're seeing that come into play. Those audibles we know Sadak for in the middle to late round.
Zelsitaki snuck through, but KCK was still holding towards the billboard of the B main. A knife being thrown that would have been huge towards that B main site where they don't have the fault line aftershock to work with, or snake bites, as a matter of fact. Even QCK's re-flanking towards the mid side. But Sentinel's already pushing forward. Spraying through the attacker smoke. Snake bite on the ground. There's that backstab. Too good for QCK.
Wow. What a swingy game. A few rounds here, a few rounds there, but the way the rounds are swinging, that team is in full control. Oh, yeah, that was close. We'll see it again. Hey, guy. He's like, I'm not KO ulted right now. You can't do that. I'm not going to be rezzed. QCK with a really nice flank. And that's been working so well now for Loud that they can continuously move from site to site, or the last few rounds, I should say, not for the map. They've only employed it here. So Sen calls a timeout. We got this in the first half out of Kaplan, and Sentinels were able to really come back with a pretty strong round. See what kind of ideas they can muster up during this one. Ultimate for John Cutie and Tens, kind of passive ults. Really need to make something work to get those in action. But Sadak, do we see this off the rip, or does it become a post plant? They have been focusing from the defensive side. Loud has that Hunter's Fury controls the map. It gets them an idea right away off a drone or a sonar bolt tag. But likely here to see it as they hit the site and try to clear one of those defensive positions Sen will be covering.
And that's the thing. Loud, again, they were able to play contact in the sites and use the ults on post plants instead and not having to waste them. Yes, we heard some Hunter's Fury, but those were trap plays that they had on defense. This time around, though, if they could continue to work the same way, I mean, for them, they don't need to fix anything because they're coming back in this game.
Yeah.
For Sentinels, the question is, how do we want to fight this? Do we want to move more forward here to not allow Loud to play the contact? It looks for information towards this mid side.
Fake TP to B main, but the push is huge here from Sen. They're trying to change the pace of the game of what Loud has been seeing the last few rounds. Feeling in control. Sen trying to take that away. Passive play from Loud gets them safely across the map here. But this is what they were doing before. Not really tempting or leaving anybody at a site. Just making some noise mid, and then they're going to hit A.
This could be basic things too, from Sentinels holding towards the back of the side with John's Cutie set up on the A, just to maybe try to break a wingman with his trips inside the A site. Run it back here, utilized by QCK just to clear out the space towards the dumpster. The plant still comes down. A lucky kill up to Kawadzine. Throws up the hat, but the plant still went down for Loud.
That's huge. Kawadzine's the one they want, an elbow. For him to go down, this means that Sen can get back in.
Right now, the goal is to protect Sadak so that he could use his Hunter's Fury. There's that tap, uses it out right away. And now right after, it's gonna be for Loud to fight back inside the smoke. Flashes are coming through. Nades are coming across towards the smokes as Tens is holding off angle. A curveball being turned. A nice kill from Tens. Snake bites on the ground as well. Wingman comes up, trying to get it down. It's at least at halfway. He's trying to stick it fully for Wingman, but gets denied. It's up to a 2 versus 1. A push forward from Blitz once again. Denied by John Cutie as they'll get to the fuse in map point.
Round 12 for Sentinels.
Match point.
Tens again. I'm pretty sure Sideshow mentioned it previously, but that flash turning percentage, Tens being at the top. The least flashed member, we see it in action. And John Cutie, that
West
kill.
Flash and didn't care.
Oh, West still actually got tagged by it. Never mind. Good POV. Good POV. It just doesn't matter with Tens. Yeah, but Kawadzine, that kill from John Cutie on a Kawadzine, you saw how confident Sentinels was to step forward there and go for the hit. What a kill to be able to pull up. Sheriffs now for the side of Loud. What a hurt on game point now, as they're going to try to get QCK up this mid position again. A little rinse and repeat on the strats before, but it brings most of the team to keep him safe.
QCK with the Sheriff, the double swinging out the wall bang, forcing Zelsis away. Trying to take the mid control, even shock darts thrown from Sadak to keep him back. Sentinels trying to push forward. It was being watched by Les, so you have 3 players now contained in the A site. That said, though, with the amount of rounds that were coming back there for Loud, that one single loss now map point for Sentinels. The economy's broken for Loud. They have to try to get something done here. Controlling maybe an orb on the B site, a Viper plant off the pit, using his Owl drone to sell that fake with this. As we got the backstab though for QCK. It's perfect. But finally, John comes out of the camera to trade that out. They get information on that Sentinel player towards the back of the site. And they try to execute now for Sentinels. A tap to allow Khaled to swing out instant
30
headshot.
seconds left.
Still not deciding to go for the plan for less. They want to use it for Kawadzin. It's been a name of the game so far on how they're forming the arbs in the plant. Sentinels now trying to go for a 3-player retake at a disadvantage. Look how far back here Sadak is. Still waiting to see somebody's going to flank across. Delays being thrown early for Loud. A flash towards the market. First contact is less. Kawadzin avoided the mosh pit. Now swings out, hit by at least the fragment. Plant denied. A push forward from Tui's. Zelsis is alone. And it becomes a nice post-plant hold for Loud.
That actually is one of the coolest rounds I've seen Sadak come up with. When they were running back to A, you saw Sadak instantly peel off. It's like a light bulb went off in his head, peels off, and then sets up to quickly set the drone. It looked like they were actually running all the way back. Says, okay, Tui's, give me that ult back here. They do a global distraction to allow QCK's hit to work even better. Sick thinking. Absolutely disgusting.
And we said, just Sheriffs?
Just Sheriffs?
It was the 2 first kills they got.
Honestly.
QCK and Kawadzin with Sheriffs to make it.
Making the crowd ill.
Yep.
Making the crowd ill.
Maybe he'll never smile again.
9 to 12. Pop flash towards mid, possibly?
Definitely.
Yep, pop
even
flash
satchels out from Zekin. And a paranoia on top of that came from 10, so try to do a trap play with the lower buy that they have on the defense for Sentinels. But again, it's the masterclass IGLing calls from Sadak, holding all the way back towards spawn.
It's wild.
Even towards the extremities.
Just wild. All right, into the site here. Just 3 rounds away for Loud to secure us our OT. It's going to be a low buy from Sen. Back in the site, they're going to hunker down and try to find those close angles. It's how can Loud dislodge them. Ultimate for Kawadzin could come around. That's the ultimate plant. If they can keep Kawadzin, then it can elbow without some John Cutie spam.
GG one there for Zelsis.
Ooh, they lost the breadcrumb. That's what they were leaving this time. Sadak goes down.
And they have to make noise now. This is all going to be heard by Tens, but Tens only has a Sheriff in the back of the A site. Sassy with a pistol himself, so this is a very weak A site hold. A flank coming behind here, a flash. Tens is fully blinded. The lurk comes up from the side from Les. Yeah, Sassy gets the headshot. An instant ding from Les. 3 players remaining from Sentinels coming back once again from the A link. Tui's now takes control towards the back of the default. Gets 1 for his troubles back there. 2 versus 2. A pit out, a rolling thunder. Giving a lot of chances for Loud here on the post plant. Camera coming out, forcing now Sentinels to go inside the pit to fight back. Zelsis is low on HP, upgraded into a rifle. They actually have 2 rifles to work with. There's that first deniability to run across. Zelsis does get the pick though. And Les has 1 more snake bite.
And they have to call
him by him. The tap on his spike. The kill from Celsius. And the fuse comes out for Sentinels as they finally close out map number 1.
It's incredible the amount of times we see Sentinels squad rush, crowd up and squad rush a site. You see it all the time on Split. Then they'll be defusing while there's still members of the opposing team in the site, pressuring the peaks, pressuring the opposing team to come out of the woodwork. How many stick defuses does Sentinels have in the past few games? It is incredible.
A great first map as well. Incredible play from both teams. And again, this is a great appetizer to this grand finals that's in front of us right now, Riv.
Really, really great stuff. It feels like Loud, were not themselves in the mid-round column, where Sadak usually excels. We see the strategies just absolutely explode, and the opponent cannot stop it. Here, Sentinels had a great read, and man, they had a great attack side, too, to set this up.
So Sentinels toppled down Loud on the first map, their map pick. Now it's time for Sentinels to play on their map pick on Split, and that's going to be after the break.
Red Bull gives you wings.
Hey guys, it's Jimmy Lin. In this series, I'm going to walk you through attack on Pearl. Watch out for the stairs, clear this angle. You're going to be able to fight this.